Close your eyes. If you want to place your hands wherever you feel.
Okay, so a little haul of what we got. Some Beyond Meat, some Ezekiel bread, and some spinach, a little bit of mushrooms, this vegan sour cream, and we got some cheddar slices. This one also tastes like regular cheese, but again, you kind of know it's not the actual like real cheese. Some shelled edamame for a snack, and we got some tempeh. Oh, and a little kombucha. You know, we out here trying to clean our gut. Okay, we went back to Whole Foods. This is just gonna fall over because there's meat in that. These cherries, I'm sorry, are elite. Like, super sweet. Some raspberries. See, we got some tomato and basil sauce, some garbanzo beans, grape tomatoes, a little bit of OJ, restock, cauliflower gnocchi. I'm actually gonna make this tonight. This is so fucking good. Like, it doesn't taste like the normal gnocchi that you'd get elsewhere, but it's pretty good. And pita chips, these garlic and herb ones. I haven't had them, but I hope they're good. This, got some cheese. Can't wait to have some of this. A little snack. Restock on yogurt. Salmon. Got some 365 brand of the sweet potato cups. I hope these are good. We'll see. Yeah, a little treat. This, oh my goodness. The strawberry Oatly is the best ice cream ever. I got drumsticks because they were on sale. I think they were like $1 something per pound. It's a lot of chicken, but obviously we're gonna freeze it. Yeah, that's it. So I thought I would bring you guys on my couch with me. I thought we could have a little bit of tea. I got a little side table and I made some ashwagandha tea. I call it kind of like I like to call it chamomile tea on crack because it's very calming and it's also just really good for you for like stress and balancing out a lot of you know, stress. So we're gonna chill here on my couch and we're just gonna talk. Basically, wait, a little sip first. Wait, it's really hot though. Yeah, I'm just gonna wait till it kind of cools down a little bit. A couple months ago, I filmed a video about basically asking like, when is it too late to graduate from college? And for some reason, it just didn't feel very authentic to me. It didn't feel like it was coming from the right place. So let me elaborate. I'm 26 years old. I just graduated in April with my bachelor's degree, my undergrad, in political science. And some of you might be thinking, oh, that's such an easy major, you can get it done really quick. And I know a lot of people that have done it in 4 or 5 years. And I'm not gonna lie and say that it's an easy major. I think every single major has its own like difficulty in it. I mean, my major had a lot of reading, a lot of writing, a lot of research. Anyone else who's a poli-sci major can definitely back me up on that. And yeah, I mean, it took me, I've been in school in college since fall of 2013, about 8 years. So after high school, I went to community college. I went to Fullerton College and I was there for about 6 years. And people always told me like, don't get too comfortable because you will and you'll kind of stay stuck there. But I had initially started off as an English major and then I switched over to nursing. And nursing was when like, I just, oh man, shit hit the fan. Like I think that's when I was diagnosed with my anxiety disorder because it was so stressful. And I realized that my grades just weren't that great. Like I was failing a lot of my classes. I couldn't handle the science load and all the math. And yeah, it was just not for me, right? And so I had spoken to a couple of my coworkers at the time who had just graduated or were about to graduate, and this conversation that I had with an old coworker kind of stuck with me for a long time. Her name is Jordan. So Jordan, if you're watching this, thank you. Now I had asked her for her opinion. I was like, you know, I'm in nursing, but I'm not really happy. I don't think I want to do this. Have you ever felt that way? And she told me that she had initially began with a different major and she noticed also that her grades were really bad. She wasn't really motivated to, you know, be in school. And when she switched to, I believe it was like music, because she teaches music, or last time I checked she was a music teacher, her grades improved. She was happier. And you know, I was like, okay, if that worked out for her, maybe it'll work out for me. And it did. When I switched over to poli-sci, I realized I found out that I was more involved in school. My grades were improving. I was looking forward to going to class, and it took some time. And I think that that's so normal. You know, when you're fresh out of high school, sometimes we have these expectations that we're supposed to know exactly what we want to do, graduate in a 4 or 5 year span, and then get your big girl or big boy job or your, you know, corporate job right away. And that's just not the case. And maybe for some people it is, but a lot of factors can come into play with that. For example, you get hired or someone gets hired in a business that is owned by a family friend or family, you know, good old nepotism and connections. And so I realized in college, everything is about connections. Who you know really matters. And it's harder when you're a first generation student and you don't have anybody to kind of show you the ropes. I know when I first started, I didn't even know what classes to take. I had no idea that I had to go to an advisor. I was taking these random classes that had nothing to do with what I wanted to do. I mean, there are lots of resources, so definitely my advice would be to go see an advisor that is, you know, in your field or that can help you get to your field. If you hear that sucking noise, my dog is I filled up his Kong with peanut butter. So yeah, eventually I got on the right path and I graduated with 2 associate degrees in political science and social sciences. Yeah, I had the best time. Honestly, I think the best years were at a junior college because I feel like I flourished more after high school. I got my first job, I learned how to drive, and it just ended up being like a really good experience for me. Yeah, and then I transferred to a university, and the only downside to that was that I decided to go out of state. So that out-of-state tuition definitely kicked me in the ass. But it kind of pushed my graduation date by a year. I was only supposed to be at UNT for a year, but because a lot of my credits couldn't transfer over, such as like California politics and, you know, classes like that, I had to retake a lot of basic like general ed classes here at UNT, like Texas politics, Texas government, stuff like that. And so that kind of pushed me back. And it was really hard because, you know, I feel like when you are a native in your state and you're taking classes, you kind of learn about your state through the years. You know, like I remember being in elementary school learning about the gold rush. And so when someone out of state comes to California and they have to know all that, it's a little bit harder because everything is crammed. So much history is crammed into one class versus being a native and having to grow up learning about it, understanding it, really knowing the history behind where you live. And so that was kind of challenging for me. And anyway, I graduated, and like I mentioned in my very first video, my plan was to go to law school, but after 2020, man, I don't want to do it right now. I mean, my heart's still in it. I would eventually like to go back to school, but I think I spent so much time indoors in 2020, and it was so mentally draining, and I, you know, became a victim to allowing COVID to just really dominate my mental health. And that was an error, that was an issue that I wish I would have learned sooner, like that victim mentality of allowing the situation to really take a toll on me when I should have taken control of the situation, taking better care of myself. I think what really affected me was that I couldn't control anything. I couldn't control the way people were around each other. I couldn't control that everybody could wear a mask. I couldn't control crowds, and even just being in a crowded grocery store would have me blow up into a panic attack because I couldn't, it was hard. Anyway, now that I'm here and I'm not going to law school, I kind of hit this like grieving stage where I had been in school since I was 4 years old, and I've always loved school. I love education, I love learning, I love reading. When graduation time came around and I didn't have a backup plan, it hit me really hard that, you know, this was something that meant a lot to me and it was being taken away. Actually, there came a time where I honestly wasn't even gonna graduate because I didn't confirm my name for graduation, or like I didn't confirm my seat at graduation, and I had to make a couple phone calls to kind of get that fixed. And I wasn't that stressed out. I think my boyfriend was more stressed out about it, and he can tell that like it didn't really faze me that much. But I think a lot of that came from, I don't know, I wasn't ready. Like I didn't want to graduate. I was scared. I felt like a part of me was going to die, or I'm letting go a part of myself that I've held on to for such a long time, because school just was my familiar environment. It was my safety blanket. It's where I felt the most familiar and safe. And so that being taken away from me, just, it really hit me. And so let me just take a little sip now. Yeah, and I think it kind of bothered me, not bother me, but it would kind of trigger like a lot of anxiety when someone would ask me, oh, so what's next? You know, are you gonna go to law school? What's gonna happen? And I don't have a backup plan. And it kind of made me feel like a failure, like I'm not doing what I'm supposed to be doing. I ended up going back to therapy, and I met this amazing therapist who's been helping me cope with what I'm going through, and she's been so validating, and she reassured me that what I'm going through is completely normal. And I've come to terms with that. I've spoken to a couple of friends, and they all went through the same thing where you graduate and it kind of feels like this, again, like I said, a grieving. It feels like you have to grieve this old self. You know, like I'm no longer a student. I'm no longer going to be a student at UNT. I'm coming to terms with the fact that I don't need to have it figured out. I don't need to find a job right away. You know, we're still in the pandemic and I need to be a little more kinder to myself, which is what I'm working on. And there's nothing wrong with working where I'm at right now. I'm gonna stay there just a little bit longer. I'm gonna fix up my resume, and yeah, I guess like the whole point of this video was just to kind of give reassurance to students who are about to graduate and they're afraid to enter the real world. You know, it is scary, but you know, good things take time. And my stepdad had given me some good advice. You know, I called him on the phone and told him that I felt lost. I felt like I didn't know what my purpose was anymore if I'm not going to be a law student. And he basically said, you know, you didn't get your degree overnight. You know, it took a couple years, it took a lot of hard work, and so don't expect to find a job or start your career right away. It's gonna take some time. And that just felt like a huge weight off my shoulders. Yeah, you know, I'm not gonna put so much pressure on myself. I think I'm gonna figure it out one way or another. I'm pulling myself out of this funk where I just felt kind of hopeless. I felt like I have so much potential, but it's wasted potential because I'm not using it the way that I should. But I'm gonna give myself grace and I'm going to work on it. So like I said, I'm gonna fix up my resume, maybe do an internship. I've been doing a lot of meditation. I mean, usually twice a day if I can, but definitely once in the morning, and it has helped me immensely. Like, it's helped so much with my anxiety. My fear of like uncertainty was really bad the last month or so, which is why I haven't posted. I just haven't felt like myself. And so meditation has definitely been my go-to. It has gotten me more centered. Same with therapy. It's been amazing. I feel like I'm gonna take advantage of this free time. I don't have to worry about a research paper. I don't have to worry about having a deadline for anything. I can just get to know myself a little more. And that's been the fun part, you know, understanding parts of me that I never had time to really dig into, like my childhood trauma somehow like resurfacing. So I'm getting to dig deep within and doing a lot of like inner child healing, and that's been really nice. It's been hard, but getting to know myself a little bit better. And yeah, it's all a process. It's a journey. Okay. Okay, so my camera died. I want to finish this video on a different day just because I've already put it off for such a long time. I'm gonna fix this a little bit. Sorry, my dog wants to play fetch right now. I have a degree now. I'm not in any rush to find that perfect job. I'm trying to take that pressure and weight off of me that I need to be in a certain place right now in my life, when I know that everything happens in divine time. I'm meant to be here. I'm meant to be going through this. I feel like I need to go through these feelings. It was time. I feel like I've suppressed a lot of emotions kind of growing up, so it's time to really sit down, analyze them, and kind of get through them. Or not get through them, I'm trying to work through them. Same with anybody else. If you've also graduated recently and you feel stuck, you're not stuck. And though it feels like it, and you want something different, you want growth, you want change, you want to get that lifestyle that you've always wanted, that's a good sign. I think feeling stuck yet wanting to feel fulfilled is a sign that you're looking for change. And we just have to be kind of patient with that, you know? We gotta be a little patient, we have to be present, and don't stop looking. People who major in poli-sci don't even end up working in the field that they initially wanted to, they end up doing something completely different. So that's why I'm not too worried about it. You know, I'm like, right now I want to do politics and I want to go to law school, but I know that right now is not the time for me. I have to, you know, deal with a lot of things right now, and I'm also waiting for my boyfriend to graduate so that we can move out of the city and, you know, start a life elsewhere. And so when the time comes and we're both ready to kind of move out, hopefully by then I'll have something. And if I don't, then I don't, you know. I'm not gonna put so much pressure on myself, because for what? I'm stressing myself out because society is putting these expectations on me that I need to be somewhere right now with my life. No, it's okay. I'll be okay. If I don't end up using my degree with anything that has to do with politics, I'll be fine. At the end of the day, the goal isn't to be happy all the time, it's just to be at peace. And with being at peace comes happiness, right? So I'm tired of chasing feelings and things that aren't attainable to me right now, because I've got things to get through, or to work through. So, you know, in the meantime, I guess in the last month and a half, I've been eating healthier. I did gain a little bit of COVID weight. I didn't get COVID, but I gained weight during the pandemic, which is fine. I've been exercising a little bit more. I've been reading. The fact that I get to read for fun now. I've always had to read a book, a paper, an essay, and so many things for my classes. And now that I actually don't have to do that, I'm excited that I get to read for fun and get to read books that I want to read and I'm interested in. So I'm reading a few books right now. Maybe I'll make a video later on about the books that I've read, and hopefully they're life-changing. And I've been listening to a lot of podcasts lately, especially with like spirituality. I discovered Joe Dispenza, and that man is amazing. He's changed my life in like a week. But anyway, this video is about him. To give a little reassurance, to give a little hug to those who are kind of going through the same thing that I am. It's gonna be okay, you know. Though life is short, honestly, we have a lot of time to figure out what we want to do, and we'll get there when we get there. There's no rush. In the meantime, I'm just gonna sit back, enjoy the ride, and get there when I do. Remainder of the year, I hope you guys will join me on discovering new hobbies with me that I like. Becoming a different person, stronger, becoming, you know, stronger physically, emotionally, and shit, dude, like, I'm not in school anymore. If I want, I can save money and travel, like, do things that I wasn't able to do because, oh, I have school in a couple weeks, or, oh, I have school, you know, at the beginning of fall. Like, I don't have that anymore, so I'm gonna take advantage. Like that, little things like that are what really get me excited. And I definitely overlook them, so I'm kind of excited, and I want you guys to join me and see my growth. Big things are coming, changes, and I'm excited. Just want to give again that reassurance that we're all on this journey together, and it might feel like we're stuck, but it's a good thing that we're stuck, because that means we're looking for that drive to push forward. So with that being said, I hope you guys like my video. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Leave a comment down below if you related to this, or if you have any tips on how to work through this as well. Yeah. I'll see you guys on my next video, okay? Love you, bye.